Spotify did that. They hiked the price for premium subscribers in the US market. Now, I do want to explain really quickly, and I keep saying really quickly, but I'm dragging it, right? I want to tell you how Spotify pays out and what's happening and how it sucks for the music industry. The labels have these robust contracts with Spotify. Spotify can't really go around them. Why? They own the majority of the catalog on Spotify. Since Spotify wants more money, the labels want more money, Spotify does something to help the labels. They say, we're going to raise the price. So when you raise the price, when Spotify raises the price, they get bigger payouts for the labels.
Has Spotify reached its peak? I don't know, but let's see what DJ Akademiks has to say about it. They got me feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride away.
Theories about it, and one of my theories is that I think the battle kind of help, fuck up what's going on. But I do want to let you know that music is in a really interesting time, and it's a lot of high level business that's going on that's actually affecting your favorite rapper that you might not know. If you're one of those people who love like certain rappers, remember I also gave this take that there's like a mid-level or like the middle class of rappers is missing. Labels aren't really investing anymore, or their investments is significantly less recently. And it's a really interesting time for music. I want to give you a top level understanding of some of the things that are happening that might let you understand where we are in the sense of music, streaming, investments by the label, but also artists themselves. Like, why are a bunch of artists these days not looking to drop music? Why are they looking to stream? Why are they looking to do other things? There's a reason for everything. So first and foremost, there's some top level business going on. And I'm going to try to make this quick. I know some of you guys love the business breakdowns and love when I get into like things like this, but we do have a lot of topics to get to. So first and foremost, there's a war brewing. I want to let you know now. I've given you the whole lead up on what AI is going to do to this industry. AI is going to do to every industry. I mean, again, AI is a really powerful tool, but it could be used in many different ways. It could be used to, to automate a lot of things that people used to do regularly. But even, I think you guys know at this point, AI could just flat out make songs, right? AI can make songs, AI could mix, AI could master. AI is about getting to the point where it could replace about 80% of the jobs in the music industry. And that's to come. That's another conversation that they're trying to handle at this moment. It's to come. But what is here now is that these companies, and I've always told you, and this is why I said when I was talking about the Netflix situation with Warner Brothers and Paramount, I said that was a mirror of like Spotify with the labels. Just to, explain it simply for people who might have missed that episode. The music business allowed a tech company to fix the problem they had, which was piracy. The tech company used that, licensed their music, gained all the people from the industry, and years later, 10 years later, the company worth the most is the tech company, which happens to be the DSP, quote unquote, which is Spotify. Spotify is worth more than all three labels combined. At first, people thought, that could never happen because people only care about the music. Now they get to realize that Spotify is a behemoth. I compared that to Netflix because when Netflix first came in, the movie industry was dealing with the same type of thing. They were dealing with piracy. And through piracy, we saw, Blockbuster and all these other traditional outlets where people would normally go to rent movies and even theaters to go see it. It declined very quickly. Okay? What happened was people realize the better bang for the buck rather than going to see every movie. You know, if you think about it now, if you go to the movie theater, you're probably spending a couple $100, I would imagine, right? You need a new fit, right? You got to put gas in the car, or you got to call an Uber. You got a date, right? You got to go get some drinks. You got to get some food in the theater. You got to buy some tickets. Now you probably get a telly afterwards. Maybe you could go home because you live alone. But you get to realize it's a whole date type of situation with even going to a movie theater. So you get to realize that just watching a movie probably cost maybe at least $100. Let's be conservative. Netflix kind of fixed that. Hey, listen, you could just have a subscription. You could get all the new movies, or you could get new content, or content maybe you haven't seen before. You could watch it in the comfort of your home. You could order food on your DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever, and you've turned what used to be you got to pay money to drive to some place or Uber chick someplace and, you know, buy drinks there. You get one bottle, some food from DoorDash. You have a Netflix subscription. You've killed the whole experience. And also, when it's time to fuck, you just roll over. It is what it is. Netflix, as well as a tech company. And they did a great job of solving piracy. And they solved the problem with a costly experience, even though the experience is still worth something. But they solved it with the subscription model. 10 years later, after solving it, Netflix is now worth more than any movie studio there is, and they're actually looking to buy one of the biggest, which is Warner Brothers. Okay?
Damn.
I've kind of went over this before, so I won't keep going over the minute details. Why am I saying that? Because music is actually in a really dire state right now, and I want to explain the state to you. You know, I told you guys like a couple months ago that there was a big problem with Spotify. Spotify came out and told the labels, and the labels weren't happy with this. They said, we're not growing no more. So Spotify they basically said that they were they were peaking when it came to subscriptions. And what ended up happening, and I hate to do the trust me bro on this, but UMG had a whole thing about this where they were saying, hey, listen, well, we need to figure out how to way to get more revenue. Like, what do you mean you're not getting more subscribers? Because the simple math is this. If you have 300 million people paying $10 a month, right, that's literally $3 billion, right, a month, right, in paid subscription and paid fees, right? To get more money, you would want 400 billion. What happens if the subscription company, which is Spotify, the tech company, says, hey, we're not growing anymore. We think we got everybody subscribed to us that would subscribe to us. UMG and these other places that license the catalog, they're all about growth. They're now in a place to say, well, we didn't plan for this. We thought you could grow in perpetuity. So here's the interesting thing, and let me break it down for you. And I'm going to break it down pretty quick, hopefully. So the labels want more money. Spotify and them are saying they're not really growing that much compared to their past growth. They're still growing, but not as much. So the growth is slow, and it's about to kind of like, yo.
I'm glad that they're not growing anymore, because Spotify is a company full of scammers, bro. Bro, like, y'all scamming the fuck out of the artists, man. Man, these artists can't make no living from Spotify and for streaming and all this shit, man. That's why I'm glad that this direct-to-consumer age is about to come in. And then on top of that, they said that the owner of Spotify was doing some weird shit, all different type of shit, man. Like, that shit was a money grab that was invented to scam artists, to make money from the artists. Yeah, man. Like, that shit was never for the artists, bro. That was just a ploy, a way to profit from the artists. You know, that's what Spotify is. But if you really rock with an artist, buy their product from them, directly from them. Don't go to Spotify. Don't go to buy it directly from them, because that's how the artist actually profits the most, not this fucking database that they created and shit to make everything easier for the consumer and also to make it easier for them to fucking make money.
They feel like they're about
But
to get
not
to the
the
peak.
artists?
It's like
Come
the
on.
streaming bubble. Like, you know, it's one of those things like, yo, if you're going to pay for streaming, you probably already pay for it now. If you're not, you're not. What
Right,
is the
'cause that
next
shit
thing
over
to
with.
do? So the next thing to do is that all these companies want more money, right? The labels have told Spotify, raise the price. They want the price of Spotify to.
It's crazy how they talking about some raise the price, but are y'all gonna pay the artists more? Hell no. I guarantee you that when they raise the price, because I think that they did raise the price. When they raised that price, you think that they paid the artists more? Hell no. Boy, they kept that extra income for themselves, bro. That's why I don't fuck with them, bro.
to be raised, okay? Spotify did that. They hiked the price for premium subscribers in the US market. Now, I do want to explain really quickly, and I keep saying really quickly, but I'm dragging it, right? I want to tell you how Spotify pays out and what's happening and how it sucks for the music industry. The labels have these robust contracts with Spotify. Spotify can't really go around them. Why? They own the majority of the catalog on Spotify. Since Spotify wants more money, the labels want more money, Spotify does something to help the labels. They say, we're going to raise the price. So when you raise the price, when Spotify raises the price, they get bigger payouts for the labels. Okay? But I want to show you a really quick equation that people don't know. And that's really happening, and it's interesting because it's going down as we speak when it comes to the music industry. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. I want to show you this real quick. So Spotify, right? So let me just draw a bubble. This is Spotify. Okay? Let's say Spotify makes $12 billion, right? This is how money is going to go. Spotify is going to keep a certain amount, and then they're going to pay out the rest of the amount to the licensing of the music that's on their platform, which is mainly from major labels that's making the money. There's a bunch of independent artists that's on Spotify, but they're not making money, right? So
Spotify is in cahoots with the labels. We already knew this shit already. So they all working together to scam us, basically.
Spotify pays two things, right? First, let's just put, and I'm going to explain it in a second. Sorry. So Spotify pays label distributor. It's going to make sense. Don't worry about it. And then they also pay what's called mechanical royalties. So really, it's you have song royalties and mechanical royalties. This is usually also called publishing royalties. I'm going to explain it, hopefully really simple to you. So let's say Spotify makes, I don't know, let's put 10. We're going to be simple. $10 billion, okay? Say Spotify keeps, I don't know, let's say they keep 3 million, right? They take 30%, right? They keep 3 million. They have 7 million left, right? And they're supposed to pay out to the people and the song and that provide the songs that people subscribe to. So they pay out to the distributor, the label, right? And this is kind of like, I'm being really rough with the estimates. They pay the labels, let's say 5 million. Okay? It's going to be a little bit confusing, but
Billion.
just pay attention. You guys will get it. And this is quintessential for you guys to understand what's going on in the music business. So they pay the labels $5 million, and they're supposed to pay mechanical royalties or publishing royalties like $2 million. $2 billion, my bad. So everything's billion, right?
Right. It's all billion.
So this is supposed to be billion, sorry. Oh, fuck. I don't know how to use paint that much. Okay. Y'all know what I mean, though. Okay. So it's 5 billion. Okay. So I'm just trying to show you real quick, like, what's happening. So this is kind of the understanding, right? Spotify makes 10 billion, right? This is the gross. They make it from their subscribers, premium subscribers. They keep the payout goes, they keep 3 million. They pay 2 billion to mechanical royalties and publishing royalties, right? And they pay the labels 5 million. That's how the 10 million gets broken up. Again, if you need more explanation on what's what, the way it works is that your favorite artist will get paid by their label or distributor. That's Atlantic, that's Sony, that's Republic, that's whatever. And whatever deal they have with their label on how streams get paid, Spotify just give the 5 billion. And UMG, Sony, Warner, they figure it out, right? Or if it's TuneCore or DistroKid, they figure it out. Now, here's the thing. Remember I told you, UMG is greedy. And this is really a lesson in greed. UMG is greedy. Remember, they keep saying to Spotify, we need more money. What you mean you're not growing? Raise the fucking price. That's what UMG is saying to Spotify. Sony's saying, yo, we need more money each year. Raise the price. Do more. Find a way to get people on this bitch. Same with Warner, right? So they want this 5 million for 5 billion to be 6 billion next year or 7 billion. They just want it to keep increasing, right? Because that's how most businesses are. Now, the labels don't play around with Spotify. When Spotify is telling them that they're not growing, they get mad. They have robust contracts, and they got to renew them after every certain amount of time. So Spotify can't play with the labels. So their deals with UMG, Sony, Warner, they're locked in. They can't play with.
So they're pretty much ran by them then. If they're that much locked in with the labels, they're pretty much being ran by the labels.
This, they can't, whatever. Now, here's the thing. Spotify is a publicly traded company. Now, when you're a publicly traded company, not only does UMG and Warner and them want more money, because I believe UMG is a publicly traded company too, and also Sony's a publicly traded company, and also Warner's a publicly traded company. So these people want more money. Spotify wants more money. Here's the squeeze that's happening in an industry. It's this $2 billion right here. Well, not two, I'm making the number because I just use a 10. It's these people right here. It's called mechanical royalties, right? Publishing royalties, which is, let me explain. So the royalties paid up here is for how much streams are essentially done, period, right? Like, it's almost like sales. Like, if you sold 15 shirts, that's what it is. You would send the money to whoever sold 15 shirts. Mechanical royalty is a little bit difficult to understand, but that's what people call pub. And they get paid to like these organizations that distribute them. You guys might know about some of these organizations. One of them is called ASCAP. One of them is called BMI. And there's another one which is MLC. And they really deal with streaming royalty, because the way how pub used to be looked at before streaming, because streaming wasn't a thing, it would be looked at as, I'm trying to explain publishing like really simple for y'all, right? So publishing would be like licensing. So if Lil Ack makes Blue's Clues and then a movie wants Blue's Clues in their movie, they have licensed Blue's Clues. They would pay a publishing fee. You get what I'm saying? They are using, it's the mechanical royalties. They need to pay a mechanical royalty fee to license and use a song. Now, there was an agreement made like about, at the beginning of streaming that there is a standard licensing fee for your music to be on Spotify or anything else. So not only do they have to pay the labels for the amount of streams, they have to pay a standard rate, which is like it's like, I think they said it's 12 cents per song. So like when they do the math on it, and a song is usually $1, 12 cents goes to pub. So essentially, and I hope I'm not losing you guys here, but I think you guys are smart. They have to pay a certain amount to mechanical royalties. Now, how is this a problem? I'm going to tell you why it's a problem. Spotify can't do without UMG, Sony, and I could put them there. UMG, Sony. Spotify can't last without them, right? So Spotify can't fuck them over, right? So remember, everybody wants more money. If 10 billion is coming in, Spotify wants more, and they want more. Well, Spotify gets to kind of figure out and divvy out the money because they're getting it. They can't fuck these people over. Why? UMG could say, I'm taking Drake off your shit. Sony could say, I'm taking this off. WMG could say, I'm taking off Cardi B or whatever, So they can't fuck these people over. You know who they can fuck over is this shit right here, the pub. Now, the pub goes to the artists, the songwriters. So when you hear that someone's a songwriter, you ever hear about people like going to the mailbox and getting a check from ASCAP BMI, is because they're writers, they're credited people. Well, Spotify,
which are the artists, basically the true creators in this equation. That's crazy. So they fucking over the people who's actually making the shit, creating the shit from scratch. The artists, the real wizards, man. Not no motherfucking corporate ass nigga that's in the office. That's what the labels are. You feel me? They the Poindexter ass niggas. But the niggas that's actually making the music are the ones that they fucking over.